Okay, so this is a quick lesson in quote unquote business with automation anytime and also affiliated companies. One thing that I learned, not officially in business school, but it's an important soundbite to remember is it's a business. In other words, when analyzing various organizations, whether it's a government or economy of scale or a government agency or a private organization, depending on the sources of funding, uh, political maneuvers, innate level innovation, or modifications and iterations of technology. It's important to keep in either the forefront of your mind or in the back of your mind, depending on how you think about things. That it's a business. In other words, if they're in business, what's the actual goal of a business? Is technically the goal of a standard rule is to turn a profit. In other words, an actionable ROI, return on investment. Now, there are various maneuvers, strategies, and tactics, politically, governmental wise, people wise, things like that, media and advertising wise, to accomplish this task in the most ideal ethical way to survive. And these things. So, what's the value of a modern day education? We don't really know. A person who achieves an MBA may not understand these things because they're still, to a certain degree, slightly new in what they either know or they don't know. So, for example, a recent article with Google laying off up to 35% of their middle managers. It's interesting and probably the optimal thing for that company at that specific moment in time. But there's all kinds of other things. In other words, if somebody was to say that's what Google did and that's what we're going to do, it would be inaccurate and a little bit foolish to say that every other company should also follow suit. That would be completely inaccurate. That would be relatively ignorant, and one could say foolhardy based on because that would make more companies affiliated. You see what I mean? Anyways, so these are the quick lessons one could say in business with automation anytime.